Hello everyone, back at it again, and today we're going to look at some of the holiday deals the Tackle Warehouse has on hard baits, spinner baits, buzz baits, and more. Let's get into it. I'm not going to go through every single lure because we'll be here forever, but I just wanted to highlight a few of them. One of them is this Yosui 3DR series pencil. I have a couple of these, and if I didn't already have them, I would be buying more. But it's half off, essentially. It has a nice steel ball, I think, at the end, so it makes a hard knock sound. Doesn't come with a split ring on the nose, so you can either add one or tie a loop knot, whatever you prefer. But yeah, they cast great. They walk great. They sound great. You can use them in fresh water, salt water. You just need to change the hooks out. Yeah. So if that's something that speaks to you, I give it the thumbs up. Let's look at, there's a whole bunch of these that are worth talking about, but I just want to talk about a couple. So this guy, this 13 Fishing Power Slide Pencil Popper. I noticed that when everybody was trying to get a Shower Blows 105 in chrome, and they were all sold out, people started turning to this guy in chrome and selling that out. And there's another color, I think it's called Bone Chrome, and that was out too. So if this is something that speaks to you and you live on a herring lake, and this is a pattern that is pretty reliable for you in the summer when the fish are busting herring on top or shad or whatever, yeah, now's a good time to pick up that stuff. Another one for the BFS crew. Yeah, so I reviewed this one in the fall in this color, the bone color, and it's a little pencil, and I would call it a BFS pencil or a spook. I guess it's more like a spook than a pencil, but it's a walking bait. And it's 3 inches long, 1/4 ounce. And for me, this is what I plan on using as a BFS spook. And it's not, you know, there's a bunch of new entries to the market that are all sold out or, you know, a little overpriced maybe. But not this guy. It's very reasonably priced, especially on sale. And I like the bone color so much that I got it in this Prism Silver Black. To me, it looks a lot like a baby herring. And like the other Yosui bait, it doesn't come with a split ring on the nose, so you can add one, or you can tie a loop knot. The stock hooks, I don't think they're VMCs, but they're that kind of quality, like kind of an average round bend VMC treble. But it casts great, walks great. For a little 1/4 ounce lure, I don't think you can ask for a lot more. And I expect to catch a lot of fish on these two baits next summer when the fish are on little tiny herring. All right, let's do another one. Crankbaits. These Jabberjaw hybrid square bills are pretty good. I've got a couple of them, and the action is sort of in between a crankbait, like a square bill, and a chatterbait. On the right day, it seems like the fish absolutely smash them, and they don't see a lot like it. And at $5, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Let's look at another one here. This BDS1, if you like small little crankbaits, small little square bills for when fish are on small bait, that's an excellent choice. And they've got a bunch of new colors. There's this brown craw color. There's a Delta Crazy Craw color. Yeah. They have a whole bunch of good stuff. And I wanted to highlight one more, and I didn't want to scroll through 100 different things to find it. So yeah, this is a Yosui wake bait. And I don't really think that Yosui knows what they have here, because what it really is to me is a super shallow running crankbait. I don't like it really at all as a wake bait. But if you start cranking this thing, it'll dive 6 to 12 inches below the surface. And it actually hunts a little bit. It hunts even more in current. And that's rare in any crankbait. It's especially rare in small crankbaits, and it's especially rare at $4.50. So I bought a couple in the sexy shad color. It looks like they're all out now. And I bought one of each in these other colors just to try and have on hand, because I'm afraid they're going to discontinue this bait. And it's a shame. And I think it's just because, you know, of the name. It's not really a great wake bait. It's really a super shallow crankbait. And for that purpose, it works really well. It's a small crankbait. It only weighs 1/4 ounce. But fish really seem to like it. And I would suggest picking some of those up while they're still in stock. If there's a color that speaks to you, I say grab them. Lipless crankbaits. Oh my goodness, this is a big category. I'll go over a couple of them that I like and I fished and I catch fish on. One of them is this Jackal TN. It's a loud bait. I use the 70 size the most. They also have a 50 size, which some people like for ice fishing, or just, you know, smaller fish or ponds or whatever. But it's a loud bait. It's got a lot of BBs in it. Casts far. I can hear it rattling even through the boat. I can hear the noise coming through the boat when I'm fishing it. So it's very loud. And you'd think maybe the fish would be put off by that much noise. They don't seem to be. They come and smash it. It's got a bunch of good colors. Yeah. It's heavy for its size. It sinks well, has a wobble on the fall. You can fish it more like a blade bait or like a standard lipless. Yeah, if you're looking for something like that and you want it 25% off, that's a good price. The Storm Arashi Vibe. This one is a lighter bait. It doesn't cast as well as the TN series, but it's almost silent. It's not completely silent, but it's almost silent. So if you are on a bite and that loud crankbait, that loud lipless is just too much for the fish, you want to go just a little bit more subtle, excuse me, try the Arashi Vibe. And I like it in some of these more subtle patterns like that bluegill or that green gill color. So if you're catching fish and all of a sudden, you know, the wind shifts and your lipless bite dies, you can try just backing off a little bit in terms of the noise and vibration, and give the Arashi Vibe a try, because that saved the day for me a couple times, and it's at a good price, $5.45. I have some of these war pigs, but to be honest, I haven't fished them as much as some of the others. They're good though. Yosui Rattling Mini Vibe. So this is a small bait, and for me it's an ice fishing bait. So I'll show you one of the colors I like for crappie is this UV Pink Tiger. That has crappie written all over it, and they really do like it. So it's sort of like a Rapella ultralight lipless. It's in that range. It's not really a bass lure. So don't be confused by the close-up view on the website. Let's do one more here. This guy, the Sergeant Lipless Crankbait Silent. So on the loud side, you have the TN70. A little bit more subtle, you have the Arashi Vibe. And this bait is supposed to be completely silent. I haven't fished it yet, but it's something I wanted to try. Sometimes silent lipless baits can be the deal, especially clear water, pressured fish, or your lipless bite just dies. And to me, it had kind of a bluegill profile anyway, so I thought I'd try it in a bluegill color. Can't say much beyond that because I haven't actually fished it yet, but I'm hoping it will be good. Spoons. We could go through a couple of these. Got the Blade Runner Does spoon. A lot of people like that for jigging. I fished this one too. This is the War Eagle jigging spoon. It's got kind of a Hopkins profile, but it comes with this Gammy EWG treble hook and a swivel already attached to the bait. So it's ready to fish right out of the package. That's kind of nice if you just wanted to have a spoon. You don't want to mess around with swivels and treble hooks and upgrades. Just, You can get one of these, and they come 2 per pack, so it's a pretty good deal, especially on sale. These guys I use mostly in the salt. They look to me like silver sides, a narrow kind of saltwater bait fish. But they have this new version, a wide version, and that looks more like a perch to me. They even have it in a perch color. I haven't fished it, but it definitely caught my eye. Castmasters. Everybody needs some Castmasters. They're great in the salt. They're great ice fishing. I know people that fish them in the winter like a blade bait, and they kill the smallmouth on them, like a 3/8 ounce or ½ ounce Castmaster, and you fish it like a blade bait, kind of fishing it all along the bottom. The Cotton Cordell jigging spoon, very similar to the Hopkins or the War Eagle. And there's the old standard, the Hopkins, which is great, by the way. All right, enough on spoons. Jerk baits. Go over a couple of these really quickly. The Re-Range 110. So this bait, it casts far. It has a weight transfer system, and it sounds like when you cast it that it's broken your line and going, into outer space. But that's just the casting system. And so it casts really well. It suspends well. It comes with good hooks. I think they're owner ST35s or owner ST36s. Good split rings. It's ready to go right out of the box. But I found that it has more action than some other jerk baits, and it has kind of a triangular shape here, and that gives it more body roll, and it seems to be too much for the bass as you get up to ice. So when the water is really, really cold, I back away from the Re-Range, and mostly for me it's an earlier fall bait, or when the fish are active, or a later spring bait. Pickerel will still eat it, no problem. But for me, it's only a warm water kind of a jerk bait, or a warmer water jerk bait. And that's because it just is doing so much. It's got the roll, it's got the flash, you're cutting it. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But it's a great bait as long as the water is a little bit warmer. The Yosui Jerkbait 110, there's another bait by Dual, and I think Yosui owns both of them. But they're probably made in the same factory. They're almost identical, and they're both great. The Yosui version has a few more colors. Some of them might be new, but it comes in this regular bill and a deep bill. And at $7, you can't really go wrong here. I kind of like that color. That looks like a good color to start out with pretty much anywhere in the country that you might encounter bait fish. Yeah, so I fished these before. They come with standard, I don't know what they are exactly, but standard round bend VMC like trebles. They're not especially sharp. They're not especially light wire. They will work. They will catch plenty of fish. You can fish them right out of the box. But once those hooks wear out, I would suggest upgrading them to something a little sharper and maybe with a slick gray coating on them. But both this and the Dual hardcore version are great for the price. I don't want to spend too much time on jerk baits. I'm going to skip over spy baits. I'm going to skip over ice jigs and tail spinners and talk about just a few of these. The Minki Vault, if you're fishing blade baits in the winter, or you're not fishing them, you probably should, but they work great. You cast them out, let them hit bottom, lift up until you feel them start to vibrate, and then follow them back down. And a lot of times you get bit as the bait is falling back down. Sometimes the fish will even pick them up off the bottom. It depends on the day, but you really got to pay attention with these baits. Because if you're only catching fish, as you pull, you're missing probably half the fish. They will bite them on the fall and spit them out before you even know they're there. So you really have to pay attention fishing these baits. But that said, they're great baits. At this price, you can get a couple of them. I mostly fish them in a ½ ounce. I've got a few in 3/8. and they've got some great colors, whatever your bait fish are. I'll just show you one modification that I do to mine to look like a perch. I take this spot green color and I put in some bars where these dots are with a black Sharpie. To me, it kind of looks like a perch. I feel like I get a few more bites with that, but that might be all in my head. They also have this gill color with the bars already painted on there. And 3/8 and a half ounce are the two sizes I fish. Now the thing about it is you need to upgrade the split rings and the hooks that come with this bait, and you'll be all set. And that snap too. So good price, you just need to upgrade the components. Let's see if I can find another one I wanted to try. Well, I've fished the Minki a lot, but this one I haven't. So I wanted a bold color in this one, and that's pretty bold. I think smallies might like it. Again, I haven't fished it yet, but I was going to give it a try. And the first thing I'm going to do is put a little drop of super glue right there on the tinsel so the tinsel doesn't come undone. And I'll see how the split rings and hooks look when I get it in the package. Maybe need to upgrade those. We'll see. So I haven't fished it yet, so I can't comment there, but I wanted to try it. Heard good things about it. And a few more spinner baits. Yeah, so the double willow. The double willow is usually the one I go for. I've got herring around me, and I think the willow leaf blades look more like herring. It might be all in my head, but I don't want to have, you know, boxes and boxes of spinner baits. And this is kind of the blade style that I've settled on. So, yeah, I haven't fished this one before, but I wanted to give it a try. The reviews say it doesn't have a hook keeper here, but that's not a big deal to me. I'm just going to super glue a swim bait there that seems to be the right size when I get it out of the package. And I'm looking forward to trying that one. There's another spinner bait that I got, and that was this double willow catalyst. And around me, the herring have a little stripe of purple on them. And I thought this would do a good job of imitating that. And again, I'm going to put a swim bait trailer on the back, maybe a storm shad, maybe one of those Rapella Crush City shads, maybe a Zman shad. I have to try a couple different ones to see how the bait swims and make sure it doesn't roll and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I wanted to give it a try and see how well that spinnerbait performed. I'm always trying new things. One little finesse spinnerbait that I've fished a lot is this Zman finesse double willow spinnerbait. Now, this is really a finesse spinnerbait, and so you have to baby a little bit. I've broken this wire here, and you can't fish it on straight braid. You can't fish it on like a flipping stick. You need a soft rod, a lighter rod to fish it, and a mono leader or straight mono, or maybe even straight fluoro, but not straight braid. And if you can do that and realize it's a true finesse spinnerbait, it's great. I put a 3-inch Z-Man Slim Swims on the back here, and they aim for that swim bait every time, and they almost always get the hook. So if you're fishing ponds, this is a great spinnerbait. If you are fishing pressured fish and they stop hitting bigger spinnerbaits, this is a great bait. If you know, it's early spring and they don't seem to want a bigger spinnerbait yet, this is a great spinnerbait. So yeah, it comes in a bunch of different colors. I like the greenback shad and this mouse rat shad, and then I usually put a smelt color Z-Man Slim Swims 3-inch on the back. That seems to be a pretty good combo. Let's see. I'll go back to the beginning. I'll do one more because they have these deals with featured brands here. And that is, let me see if I can find it. It's not Booyah, it's Bomber Square A. Yeah. So this is along the same lines as the Yosui wake crank. It's a shallow running small crank, and it probably will get a little deeper than the Yosui bait, but not much. It's got a little tiny lip on it. It's kind of an angle, and at $3.74 I thought I'd give it a try. I've fished some of the bigger ones before. They're pretty good, and what I had this in mind for is, you know, kind of finesse BFS fishing. So if you're not familiar, BFS is a bait finesse system. It's just casting light lures on bait casters instead of spinning gear. It's not true bait finesse, because a 1/4 ounce, you know, the real purists will turn up their nose at you. But for me, this is going to work. So I thought I'd give that a try. All right, I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover. There's so many good deals here that I can't possibly go over it all, but I just wanted to highlight a few lures that caught my attention, and maybe you'd find it useful too. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.